Hey guys, Books Nelson here, back with another video. And today I'm going to be covering these Team USA cards, but not in this video. That will be in another video, because before I do that, I have a correction for this channel, an apology to you guys, and a rant on 2K. So yesterday, I had a lot to do yesterday. I had to leave the house and I didn't have a lot of time. And for those of you guys who don't know, I'm a professional artist by trade. And on Fridays, what I normally do is, as soon as I'm done recording videos for this channel, I go onto my Twitch, twitch.tv.com/NelsonBlake2, link in the description. My Twitch, as of right now, is not a gaming Twitch, actually. I go on the Twitch and I draw for my art students. And it's just a pre-recorded little warm-up session, not pre-recorded, but it's a warm-up session that they can have access to that helps them with the things that I've taught them throughout the week and the things I want them to continue to train on. I didn't even have time to do that because I had to leave the house. Now, that's not to make excuses. That's to explain why I literally did not mathematically have the time to do these invincible cards yesterday. And it's also why I overlooked this situation with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So with Kareem, after Jokic, I thought it was enough. I thought this was their program to basically just have him be point guard eligible for the ProPass and then have him be locked into power forward. So I didn't even think about comparing the two, because I was like, oh, they probably did the same thing they did with the Jokic. How ridiculous and naive of me to not expect 2K to sink, as low as they possibly could, because for them, the bottom line is the bottom line. And I want to unpack this a little bit before we actually look at the cards in the comparison. So the thing is, if you order the ProPass, and the lowest amount you can order is the $10, right? Buying no levels. I always stress to people, if you play both modes, do not buy levels, because it goes by very, very quickly. If you play both MyCareer and MyTeam, and you get the ProPass, there are so many 2 XP coins, double XP coins, that you're going to fly through the season pass. 2K knows this as well, right? So my point is, knowing that we're so close to the end of the cycle, if you're not buying the ProPass, it's not going to take you twice as long. It's going to take you like 3 times as long or something to get the Kareem, maybe 4 times as long. Especially if you're not buying the ProPass, this probably means that you also don't spend crazy amount of times playing. You might play a lot, but you don't play enough to make up the ground that it would make up, excuse me, to get to match the speed of someone who has the ProPass, right? Like you're not going to play that much. And I know this because I have a no money spent account, and seeing the non-ProPass version of how, the pacing of that is definitely doable. Like you'll get to level 40. It's not particularly difficult. But if you buy the ProPass, and if you play both modes in particular, it's lightning fast to go from 0 to 40. You can do it in a week without even going crazy on the game, to be honest with you. If you only play MyTeam, I would say maybe 2 weeks if you're not going crazy on the game. 1 week if you're absolutely just, an insane person like Carlo, right? Carlo's a grinder like that. And actually, that's a compliment. But 2K knows that if you don't buy the ProPass, you're not getting that Kareem until the cycle is pretty much over. Right? Like you're literally going to be watching trailers of 2K25 by the time you actually get Kareem. So under those circumstances, again, 2K knows exactly, whoever you are, 2K can literally give you a document on exactly when you would get Kareem, and their numbers crunchers work so hard on making sure that the community doesn't get stuff more than they quote unquote deserve out of the game. I'm willing to bet you that the number they give you of when you would get Kareem is probably within 3 to 5 hours of accuracy of when you would get the Kareem, because they track your habits like Google or something like that, right? Or Facebook. Like they have those levels of numbers crunchers. And how do I know this? Because when I track the economy of the game, I can see the changes that they make in order to make sure that the community is not getting more than they want, because they're watching their numbers constantly. They can see it going up and down. When I say down to the minutia, and you guys have seen it here in MyTeam with MT, you've seen the deluxe packs change. You've seen the prices of the cards change. And forget about the Paul George fiasco. However, one thing I will say about the Paul George fiasco that happened, which was their mistake, I'm not calling it a glitch because it wasn't a glitch. Nothing in the game worked improperly. The person who uploaded the Paul George card, put up the improper number. That is not a glitch. That is not something that's against the toss of the community. If you bought and sold that Paul George card, you did not do anything wrong. And honestly, you shouldn't have had your account affected at all whatsoever. There's a difference between that and a glitch or an exploit of all kind, of any kind. That's entirely on 2K side. But what did they do after the Paul George glitch besides wiping people's account who participated in it? They changed the timing of when the cards get updated so that there would always be somebody who's on payroll ready to fix any mistakes going forward in the future, right? And I say this to say their attentiveness towards the economy of the game is at 10 out of 10 level compared to their attentiveness towards gameplay throughout the year and their attentiveness towards features throughout the year. Now, on the MyCareer side of things, I think they do a decent job on content. Most people who play MyCareer are happy. And despite what the internet will try to tell you, like every 2K is the worst 2K until 2 years later, then it's one of the best 2Ks, right? Like, you take that aside. If you go to MyCareer and you queue up any game mode, matchmaking is lightning quick. People have tons of builds. They have all kinds of clothes for their builds. You just do not participate in a game that way unless you are enjoying it. I've seen 2K start to taper off and die toward the end of the cycle, and this is not what that looks like. This is an extremely successful 2K on the MyCareer side from a gameplay standpoint, regardless of what people say to you. So, on the MyTeam side, the content is horrible, right? What the content looks like for me is looks like they divested resources away from the mode because they basically made a calculation that said we can make this much money from the mode and we can cut this much budget from the mode, and it's not going to change our bottom line if we do these things. And so to the thing that I look at with this Kareem card, I hate to say that it's surprising because I've done so many videos on their practices. I've even created a lizard people mascot. I'm sorry, I pronounced that wrong. Lizard people mascot that highlights how sinister their practices are. And I was still caught off guard by the fact that they invested so much into the paid Kareem over the free Kareem, partially because I also know that the people who are getting the free Kareem are going to be getting him on average so close. Most aren't even going to get him, by the way, but they're going to get him so close to the end of the cycle in 2K25 that no matter how good the free Kareem is, the timing of when you would get him is not going to give you the value of what the card is. So even if it was exactly the same card, free and unpaid, which would obviously be a disaster for buying free pass for most people because they would just see the card, say it's the same card and not think about it. But there are so many XP coins in the ProPass speeding up your progress toward this Kareem that you're gonna get the paid Kareem fast enough to use him for a significant amount of time before the next game comes out. You're going to be using this Kareem until the end of the cycle, and it's probably going to be, what do we have, 2.5 months left or something like that? It's going to be, nearly that entire time, because if you want this Kareem and you have the ProPass, it's only going to take you a week or two to get him. Whereas this Kareem, without all of those extra XP coins, it's going to take you at least twice the amount of time, probably close to 3 times the amount of time. And because there's not that much time left in the cycle, that matters. It's not the same as Shea, where literally you can still use Shea right now, right? Shea's still not only a playable point guard, I still think he's one of the better point guards in the game. So you're good with Shea all year. Jokic, if you like the Jokic card, you can still use that Jokic probably for the rest of the year, quite honestly, like if you want to use that card. Whereas this Kareem, by the time you get this unpaid Kareem, 2K25 is out. So by that alone, the timing was a bigger nerf to this Kareem than anything they could have done on the card itself between the ProPass and the free one. And they knew that, and they still absolutely brutalized this Kareem Abdul-Jabbar card. So now, looking at that, we'll do a comparison that we should have done yesterday with this Kareem card. So Kareem. So we looked at this version, and let's look at what's different. And as I looked into it, I thought it was just going to be the jumper, because a lot of people were saying, why didn't you talk about the jumper being changed? But that's not even the thing that gets me the most. Okay, so yes, the jumper is Jonathan Isaac base, which is what I talked about. Is that is a much better base. He also got upgraded. Well, I won't say upgraded, but they gave him the Nikola Jokic over Devin Booker. I do. Listen, as I said yesterday, I've dedicated a significant amount of video time talking about that Nikola Jokic hop jumper and just how excellent it is. There are 2 videos here minimum on it. So yes, I think this is a great jumper. However, Devin Booker provides significant things if you're really good at 3-point shooting, and obviously with a 99 overall, he is. And with the Jonathan Isaac base, I almost wish I would have had the Jonathan Isaac base with the Devin Booker, just because if you're running forward and you hit that Devin Booker step back, there is no way to catch that move. He goes so far backwards so quickly that I think this is something way better in MyTeam than it is in MyCareer. But what really gets me is looking at all of these changes over here. Like, this is an overhaul that I would have loved to have seen on many, many shorter cards. Like, for instance, the Derrick Rose card, right? Like, the Derrick Rose in the ProPass, he could have used this kind of love. Not that his animations are bad, but even just from the shooting standpoint, right? Like, you look at this 7'2" monster getting all of these upgrades. Look at the care, right? From DeMar DeRozan up to Pro 2, from Michael Jordan to Kyrie Irving, from Tracy McGrady to Steve Francis. That's a massive upgrade. Kobe escaped to Trae Young. That's a pretty big upgrade. KD to Tim Hardaway. That's a big upgrade. Kobe breakdown moves, which I've gone on and on and on about how much I hate them, to De'Aaron Foxes, which are very, very good, right? Giannis, moving crossover, solid. The between the legs is good, but John Wall, infinitely better. Top tier, best in the game. So and even the Hezi, which was fine, they gave him Chris Paul Hezi. I'm not mad that this Kareem is juiced out of his mind. I mean, for $10, getting one of the best cards in the game, it is objectively far greater value than anything in the game, right? That's a no-brainer for me. This card is that good. My thing is, if this card was also that good but couldn't play the point guard position, it'd be fine, because people aren't going to get it anyway. And in fact, if they wanted to, here's the thing that's a little surprising, which again, I'm ashamed to say that anything is surprising, because we know they have zero standards over there now, right? All they care about is how much money they get out of you. They do not care how good this game mode is. That is where they are. That is my honest belief. And if any dev hears that and is offended by it, I would actually love to have an honest conversation about that, which I know probably can't happen because of how many of their decisions are their hand being forced, and the people forcing their hands they can't talk about as a dev. So it's a conversation that could probably never happen. The devs who actually designed the MyTeam mode cannot talk about why it sucks so bad, because they are not the reason it sucks so bad. I mean, they're the reason in the sense that they're following orders, but they are not the designers of this terrible game mode, right? But even like if this card, even like if you had the free version of the card be as good as the paid version of the card, and this is my entire point, the only way to get it will be to play MyTeam so much, because progress is so much slower without all of those extra XP coins. Like, you'd have to play so much MyTeam, or you could go and play MyCareer, and that would help it a lot too, because every MyCareer game online, if you play online, does give a decent amount of XP, and you'd also have access to the MyCareer coins. That would speed you up significantly. But if you did not play MyCareer, if you're only playing MyTeam and you're just gunning for this Kareem card, you'd have to play so much that the engagement alone would be a net win for those guys, and you're still missing all of the other ProPass rewards anyway. And if you're grinding that much, and I know they know this, you would be tempted to buy the ProPass once you get to that point. And here's how I know this: they know that there's a certain amount that people play before they haven't gotten a dopamine release to where they want to just spend money to stop the pain, right? And this is like psychological stuff that these people have done deep research on. And I know this because this is how they designed MyCareer. You can do your own character in MyCareer, and you don't have to pay any money. And you can build that build from the bottom to the top. The problem is, if they made it 75 overall in MyCareer, which would make sense because you're a rookie being drafted in the first round, and very few rookies drafted in the first round, and certainly in the lottery, are below low 70s overall, and many of them are in the mid to high 70s. So what it should be is that your character is in the 70s, and they would just have the prices be the same, right? So you spend the same amount of money on VC, the cost of the attributes would be higher, but it would just make basketball sense for your character to be in the 70s. Why is it not in the 70s? Because being in the 60s is so much less fun. And watching those big attribute stacks that you like, it's like a mountain to climb, that people will say, oh man, I've been playing this game for this many hours and I'm just a level 68. I've gotten thousands of VC already, and I've only completed one attribute cap, and my character still feels like garbage. Screw it, I'm at least gonna get 75k VC to make this faster. They know exactly what point that happens at, and I know it because they keep adjusting the game to keep you at that point. Everything else they adjust in the game for you to earn VC is, or in this case, MT, is to make it so that you can't earn quite enough to feel good without giving them money. That's the goal. So they know exactly where the point of misery in the grind kicks in, and they need that point of misery to last long enough that you want to give them money. And you can see it because they change this all year. This game sees very little maintenance in gameplay throughout the year. And this year it's seen less than most, right? They've many less gameplay patches, especially after the beginning of the year, which is good for MyCareer because it allows it to be stable. It's bad for MyTeam because in MyTeam, the gameplay sliders should change throughout the year as the cards get better. Because if you balance the game to be played with cards that are in the 80s and low 90s with silver and bronze badges, and then the game suddenly has cards that are 99 everything with all Hall of Fame badges, and all of the cards are much bigger. In order to get the game to feel the same or to feel as good, those two modes can't be balanced exactly the same, right? So the maintenance of the MyTeam mode, and also just the fact that like the CPUs, this is why it's important that this, like the CPUs can be more frustrating. Going up against gold John Barry CPU is very different than going up against, dark matter Wemby CPU, right? Like those two cards behave like totally differently. And so the CPU that would be too extremely easy early in the year, if it was balanced like for Wemby to be playable. You guys see what I'm saying? Like the mode has to be rebalanced as the year goes on, as the cards get that much stronger, at least as far as the AI is concerned. Otherwise, the AI is just absolutely out of this world superhuman. And that balance doesn't happen because this mode is made so that as little budget gets put in, but as much resources from the consumer gets pulled out. But where budget is still put in, and this is the point I'm getting to. I notice we're kind of getting deep into the weeds on this one. They keep tweaking the economy all year. Every time you see the price of cards change, a deluxe pack change, that kind of thing, that is several Zoom meetings. And then those Zoom meetings have people leave and they go to their respective offices and they do work all week crunching numbers and doing research and reconfiguring this stuff. Every company works like this. Like every major company, this is how it goes. They don't just randomly choose numbers, right? They have professionals who are paid a minimum of 6 figures a year to make sure that these numbers make sense. And whenever they look at a 2-week period, for them it's probably 1 week. When they look at a drop and that drop doesn't perform well, there's probably somebody in that meeting, and I'm sure they're like chill over there, but there's probably somebody in that meeting who's hearing from the higher ups, and it's like, okay, we're all going to be cool because we're overall happy with the way this is going, but let's have a serious conversation about why last week did so poorly, because we can't have another week like that. And then they recrunch those numbers, and then you see, okay, this is why dark matters are $315 a piece. You get one deluxe pack So the overall collection really is 600, but each pack costs this amount, and these are the pack odds. So this is the likelihood that people are going to buy packs versus locking in the set. These people are surgical with all of this stuff, and they do the same thing on the VC end of things. All of the quests in MyCareer and the amount that you earn from doing things is surgically made so that you are miserable just long enough that you want to spend money. And to bring it back to the Kareem thing, why this is so cruel, they know that the people who wanted say this free Kareem was as good as this Kareem, but he was equal, but he could just not play point guard. They know that the people who were grinding like that, 90% of those people would crack at like level 27 and just buy the ProPass and then finish it up in a day. Because that's how long it would take. It would literally take you, like if you grinded to level 27 with no extra XP coins, and then you got the XP coins from like the ProPass, it would just, you get Kareem at that weekend, right? Because that's how fast those XP coins are. So that's my rant. Again, I apologize for not looking at it. I didn't expect 2K to make these cards this different. I mean, arguably, this is probably more different than any of the cards I think have been. Usually it's just been dribble, style, and shot. This guy got a complete overhaul, and he can play point guard. Like, they overhauled this card to the point that the position change is almost surprising. Like, if I was just looking at this, I would go, oh, okay, so they made him better because he can't play point guard. But then to see that he can also play point guard, it's like, wait a minute, why are they that different? The people who don't have the ProPass aren't going to get this guy until the end of July anyway. They're going to have like 2 weeks to play with this card before the new game is coming out. So, end of July might even be a little, I mean, they're going to get this guy as the season is wrapping up most likely. So that's my rant on this, guys. I apologize. Again, I had a ton to do yesterday, which is why I wasn't even able to do the Invincible video before I left. But I didn't even think that 2K would sink this low, and that's my fault. I should from now on, I have zero expectations of standards on this company, especially when it comes to MyTeam, because MyTeam is definitely the redheaded stepchild of the 2K communities. They care about the feelings of this community less than any other community, because they know that if they're mean to this community, they can still get a whole lot of resources from this community. And there's so many elements to this community, from the collectors to the competitors to the offline people, you know what I mean? Just across the board. The people who just love the NBA but don't want to play now, or MyGM. There's a lot of reasons that people play MyTeam, and they don't have to serve those communities. All they have to do is be dedicated to those lizard tactics of attacking your dopamine, attacking your FOMO, and getting you to consistently spend money on this game. So that is the rant on this Kareem card. It is what it is. I have nothing else to say about it, guys, and I will see y'all in the next one. We'll be talking about those Invincible cards as well. Peace.